Hi, over the next few minutes, we'll show you the integration between ConceptShare's online proofing system and NetSuite SRP. If you'd like to learn more, please contact your NetSuite account manager to schedule time for a one-on-one demonstration. Before we get started, I'll point out why NetSuite and ConceptShare invested in developing this integration. Quite simply, it was to further help agencies to save time and save margins, which translates into bottom line profits. How? Well, having worked with hundreds of creative production teams, we know that the review and approval phase can take up to 60% of a project's lifecycle, sometimes more. Why? Well, most creative production teams are using the wrong tools to manage the review and approval phase. Usually, it's review by email or review by pen and paper, otherwise known as job jackets. Well, that makes the process of capturing, reacting to, and tracking feedback and approvals inefficient, obscenely so, in a way that can impact timelines, deadlines, and your bottom line margins and profits. With this integration, your agency will be able to reduce your review and approval lifecycle by up to 80% and reduce the number of revisions per produced piece of work by 50% or more, which translates into significant time and margin savings. Let's take a quick look at the integration and point out how your agency can achieve these same benefits. So here we are in the SRP system. Let's assume we've set up this project for all the assets we're producing for our client Acme Inc. for a holiday campaign. So I'm just going to scroll down here. You'll notice that there's a new tab now called ConceptShare Reviews. I, as the project manager or account manager or traffic manager, I can see a list of all the reviews that are part of this project. So I could see at one point we had our creative director approval, and that is set to be done on January 5th. We've so far got one of two of the required reviewers to complete that. So this sort of view gives me a great real-time view of all my reviews in flight, how many of them look to be on track in terms of completions by required reviewers, and I can now sort of proactively know which ones are at risk of bumping up against or maybe going past that deadline and get ahead of those potential bottlenecks and problems. Whereas maybe in today's world, if you're using email or spreadsheets to manage the process and keep track of who has and who hasn't given feedback and what feedback they've given, it's a really manual and time-consuming process. Here, it's all done automatically for you, and with the benefit of it being done in the overall context of you managing all the moving parts of your project within SRP. So we'll go ahead and we'll look at the client approval review in a couple of minutes, but let's first start off with, what does it take to add a new review? So I'll go ahead and click on the add review button. What this is going to do is it's going to bring up a dialog that's going to, again, allow me as the project manager to put some structure around the whole feedback cycle. So I'm going to give it this review a name. So maybe at some point it's not just getting the client sign off. Maybe their VP of marketing needs to sign off on things. So we'll call this the VP of marketing approval. We can put in a set of instructions here. So I'm just going to stay really basic. I'm going to say I need you to review it for copy, overall look and feel, and use of product images. So this gives me the ability to, again, put a little bit of structure around. Here's the things I need you to give me feedback on. I could put a due date on this. So our creative director approvals by the 5th, that client approvals by the 12th. So we'll say the VP of marketing approvals by the 19th. And we'll say that's by 12, because maybe I want to give myself a bit of time to maybe get another revision round in to react to any changes a VP of marketing may want. So in SRP, I obviously know what my overall timelines are. Maybe I know my campaign's going to launch the following week, maybe on the 26th. So I want to get this VP of marketing approval done by the 19th. So it's off our plates and we've got enough time to make any changes and get those assets ready to go out the door. I can then select who I want to participate in this review. So here I'm going to say I need Mark from marketing, who's our VP of marketing, to participate in the review. I could select multiple people, and then I can grab a couple of files and drag and drop them out into this box here. So whether it's images like photos, product shots that you might be using, or documents, whether it's PDF, Word files, PowerPoint files, so everything from your sales deck presentations to annual reports to catalogs or direct mail pieces, or video and audio files, or even your digital marketing assets like HTML5 banner ads, all of that can now be routed for review and approval directly through SRP. And now all I need to do is click on create review. So that's going to go ahead and it's going to create our review for us. You'll see here that the review is processing. And once it's done processing, again, it'll be listed here. So I, as the project manager, can have real-time visibility into all the reviews that are in flight, and I can see their status, and I can manage them against the due date that we have. So let's go ahead and take a look at the client approval. And the way we're going to do that is I'll just let you know. So we created this client approval. We actually had two people, including Kathy, who's one of our clients, added to the review. So I'm just going to go over here to an inbox, and here Kathy's received a notification saying she's been asked to participate in this review. So she gets this link here. So whether Kathy is sitting down at her desk in her office and she's got her laptop open, or maybe she's at her desktop, or maybe Kathy's a road warrior type and she's at the airport and she really lives off of her tablet or smartphone, doesn't matter, wherever Kathy is, wherever she gets this notification, anytime, anywhere, she could just click on the link and that will launch the review. So she doesn't even have to log back into the SRP system. It'll go into what we call directly into the review. And here, think of this as a review landing page. She'll see a little thumbnail of all the files she needs to review. If Kathy needs a refresher on, the instructions, she could just simply pop those up and she'll see the instructions. And then Kathy can open up any one of these files. So she'll go ahead and open up this file. It looks like a video file. And she wants to give herself a little bit more screen real estate. So she'll collapse the panel down at the bottom. She could zoom in on this. And she doesn't want to listen to the volume because maybe she's at the airport right now. And she could click play. And at any point, she could just simply click on the plus sign if she wanted to and add feedback. So maybe she doesn't like the subtitle here. She could just grab the arrow tool, point down to it, and she might say change to XYZ. And she can publish that. So one big thing to keep in mind is that this makes it really easy for your key stakeholders, especially your clients, to participate in the feedback cycle, because whether it's an image, a document, a web page, a video file, they can easily interact with these files. All they need is a browser and an internet connection. They can do it on any device they're on, and they can just simply quickly and easily add clear and actionable feedback, whether it's on a single frame or as you'll see in your one-on-one demonstration across a span of frames. So Kathy overall sort of likes this file. She could go ahead and play it all the way through if she wants to. She could even scrub through it frame by frame if she wants to, or she could just simply play through the entire thing. And let's assume that Kathy is overall okay with this file. She'll go ahead and she'll approve that file. And she knows there was one other file in here, so she'll go and pop this one open. This one looks to be, just a small little brochure. She'll zoom in here because she wants to read some of this text, and you'll see as she's zooming in, she's not losing any of the quality on the text. So even if you go up to 300%, all the text is still very clear. There's no blurriness or anything like that. And now Kathy maybe wants to leave a little bit of feedback here. So again, really easy. She'll just click on the plus sign, and there's a couple of things she's noticing here. One is she's not a big fan of this image here. She's thinking replace with image of couple, and she'll click on publish on that one. And then maybe some of the text here, she'd like to punch this up a little. So here she's going to use the one of the copy tools, and she wants to suggest some replacement text for this portion right here. So she's just going to highlight that. And here over in our feedback comment box, she could suggest some replacement text. So again, really quick and easy for Kathy to do this. We've heard a lot from agencies that this tends to increase client satisfaction as well because, again, it just makes it really quick and easy. Really easy is, I think, the main point. Easy for them to participate in the whole feedback cycle. And she can publish this. So she wants a couple of changes on this brochure here. So she's going to go ahead and she's going to reject this file. System says, okay, you've given a response on all the files. Do you want to go ahead and officially submit them? Kathy will say yes. So she'll go ahead and she'll officially submit those, and then she'll close down her browser. So that's great. And then I, as the project manager, again, would sort of get email notifications. We'll see a couple of examples of those if we go back to the inbox here. And so maybe we want to take a look at some of this feedback here. We'll see that Kathy's left a comment. She's highlighted some text. She's suggested some replacement text. So as Kathy or anybody else is leaving feedback, I'm getting real-time notifications. If I don't want the real-time notifications, I can set up digests and just have them sent on a set interval. But what it allows me to do is it allows me to keep up to date either in real time or on those set intervals as to what feedback is being communicated. So again, really valuable for I as the project manager. And all this is being automatically captured in the system. So I'm not having to manually keep track of this through my inbox or spreadsheets or anything else like that. So I'm able to actually focus on my job as the project manager or traffic manager of getting things over the finish line and not having to worry about collating feedback and things like that. So what I, as the project manager, I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work with my creative services team. They're going to go ahead, they're going to make some changes. They're going to have a new version of the file. I'm going to go ahead and then say, okay, I'm going to edit this review because I'm going to have a new version of that brochure that I want Kathy and the other reviewers to take a look at. So here that same dialogue pops up. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to grab version 2 of this file. I'm going to drag and drop that out. So that's going to version the file for me. I'm going to click on Save Changes. And then the review is being updated. So it's basically going to say, okay, there's now a new version of the file. We're going to update this review and we're going to send out email notifications to the reviewers to let them know, hey, you need to come back in and take a look at what's new. It could either be new files that have been added, new versions of files, or just new information that's been added. And you'll see here what we get in our dialog box is we get additional email notifications of saying, hey, the review has been updated. Can you come back in and take another look? So Kathy's going to get this link. And again, maybe she's doing it on her tablet or desktop or laptop, wherever she is. She's going to click on that link. She's going to be able to go in. She'll get to this review landing page again. Her response on the video sticks because she approved it. She'll go ahead and she'll open up this file. And, we know right here, for the purposes of this demonstration, it was literally 2 minutes ago that Kathy left that feedback, but maybe it was 2 hours or 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months ago. So one of the things that Kathy can do is she could say, you know what, I'd really like it if I could look at a side-by-side comparison of the files. I want to look at V1 against V2 or V2 against V3 or hopefully not V5 against V6, but we know that sometimes happens. I want to take a look at these files and I want to look at them side by side so I've got that visual context, and I want to lock as I zoom in so I can see, hey, I did think I said I want you to change that image in the top left-hand corner, but you know what, I'm not exactly sure. So I can actually go back and look at the feedback that I gave on that previous version. So it gives me that visual context of this side-by-side view. It gives me the additional benefit of being able to look at the feedback that I gave on that previous version and compare it against the new version, which is really valuable. And again, makes it easy for Kathy, who's my client, or any other stakeholder that's participating in the review process. So Kathy goes, great, you know what? All my feedback's been properly incorporated. I'm really happy with this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at this new version of the file, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to approve it. So I'm really happy about that. And what that's allowing us as an agency to do is a couple of things. One is we're allowed to put process around the whole feedback cycle. Two is we're making it really quick and easy for our reviewers, Kathy, who's our client, to be able to input clear and actionable feedback. We're able to react to that feedback, knowing exactly the changes we need to make. And then Kathy is happy with the new version of the file, and we'll go ahead and we will sign off on it. So we'll go ahead and submit that now. So Kathy has approved that file. And that's it in a nutshell. There's all sorts of other key capabilities in the system that would be beneficial for you from an agency point of view, as well as beneficial to your clients. But the real highlights is that you're able to put structure and process around the whole feedback cycle. You're able to share any type of work that you're producing, whether it's images, documents, web pages, audio or video files, or digital marketing files like HTML5 banner ads. You make it quick and easy for your reviewers to be able to input clear and actionable feedback, quick and easy for them to reply to each other's points of feedback. And what you're doing is you're eliminating any unnecessary revisions. One of the things that we'll also look at in our one-on-one demonstration is the insight and analysis we actually give you into your review and approval lifecycle, so that you can identify where the bottlenecks are and continuously optimize the process. We're going to give you the ability to know what your average review cycle is, to be able to benchmark clients against each other, to be able to benchmark, not just clients against each other, but different types of projects and different types of assets against each other. And by doing that, we've seen this across dozens of agencies, is we are able to continuously identify bottlenecks in the process. And by identifying those, you're able to continuously improve the process. And that's how you're going to be able to, drop down that review and approval lifecycle by up to 80% and decrease the number of revisions per produced asset by up to 50%. And all that translates into significant time and margin savings. And now you're going to be able to do all this right within the NetSuite SRP system. So again, to learn more about how your agency can capture those time and margin savings and bottom line profits, contact your NetSuite account manager to set up a one-on-one demonstration and Q&A session. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.